Today's lesson is on perimeter, circumference, and area. We'll start by looking at an object and determine its area. We know the area of a rectangle. As you can see, we can count the number of square units for the area of a rectangle. This area is 7 by 4, so 28 square units. Again, our surrounding rectangle idea tells us that the triangle inside of it would be exactly half. So if we take half of 28, the triangle is 14 square units. Likewise, we can do the same thing and divide up a trapezoid. We can use the idea of the surrounding rectangle to divide up the trapezoid and find how many square units the trapezoid is divided into. If we cover these, we can see we have a square, which is a 4 by 4 square, 16 square units. We have 4 by 3, 12 square units, half of that for the triangle, so 6 for this piece, and 6 for this piece. So we have 12 plus 6, which equals 24 square units. We can do the same thing for something as complex as a hexagon. This is a regular hexagon. We find the area of the rectangle in square units. This is 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 24 square units. Each corner piece that we look at on here is approximately 6 square units for the rectangle, which would make each triangle 3 square units. 3, 6, 9, 12. If we take the 12 plus the 24, we have a total of 36 square units. Now we have the area of the hexagon, 36 square units. Let's take a look at some formulas next, now that we have used the square units idea, and see if there's a simpler way we can solve some of the problems without having to always divide it into square units on a grid system. We know, as a review, area is the amount of space inside of an object, and perimeter is adding all of the sides, or the distance around the object. The formulas are given first. A square has a formula of side times side, or side squared. Also, you could use length times width for a square, even though they're the same length and width. And a rectangle we know is length times width. For a triangle, we use the formula 1/2 times base times height, or sometimes people use base times height divided by 2. For a circle, our area formula is pi times radius squared. Remember that radius squared is radius times radius. Circumference of a circle, that's the same as the perimeter of another object. Remember, circumference is the distance around the circle, is 2 times pi times the radius. Parallelogram, area is base times the height. Remember, the base is along the bottom or the top of the shape, and the height is generally drawn inside of the shape. Trapezoid, same thing, the height is generally drawn inside of the shape. To find the area, we generally use the sum of the two bases, base top and the base at the bottom. Add those together, multiply that by the height, and then divide by 2 or times 1/2. Here are some examples. Find the perimeter and area of a rectangle of length 4.5 meters and width of 0.5 meters. To find the area of a rectangle, 4.5 times 0.5. That would give us an area of 2.25 meters squared. Remember, it's square units if you're finding the area. And then perimeter is the distance around the shape. If this is 4.5, the bottom is 4.5. If the right side is 0.5, the left side is also 0.5. we add all the sides. 4.5 plus 4.5 plus the 0.5 plus 0.5. Our total will equal 10 just meters, not square meters, remember, for perimeter. Our next example is a triangle. A triangular window has a height of 18 inches and an area of 297 square inches. What is the base of the window? This time we're given the area 297. We're going to find the base length, use B for base, and 18 is the height. Solve for B. Half of 18, or 1/2 times 18, is 9. So 297 equals 9B, or 9 times B. And then to solve for B, we divide both sides by 9. So our base, B, would equal 33 inches. In our next example, we'll find the area of the square. Since it's a square, each side is the same length. That would make this side 3 inches. This side is 3 inches. And the final side is also 3 inches. Find the area of a square, side times side, 3 times 3 equals 9 square inches. Next example is find the area of a parallelogram. Area of a parallelogram, we take the base, which is 12, times the height. The height is 3, and that would equal 36 centimeters squared. For the area of the trapezoid, we take the height is 8 times the sum of the bases, 14 plus 20. Divided by 2 or times a half, whichever way you prefer. (20 plus 14 is 34. Our answer would be 136 square inches. Our next problem will find the area and circumference of a circle. Area equals pi times radius, which is 5. Remember, the radius goes from the center to the outside of the circle. The diameter would be the distance all the way across the circle. Pi times radius squared would equal 25 pi, which is considered to be an exact answer. And our units would be centimeters squared. If you want to multiply it all out, you can multiply 25 times. Pi is usually a key right on your calculator, and you could do the multiplying if you wish to get an approximation. For the circumference, we take 2 times pi times the radius, 5, which would equal 2 times 5 is 10 pi, and this would be in centimeters, Once again, if you want to multiply out 10 times pi on your calculator, that'll give you an estimated answer. For our next example, we have a maintenance worker needs to fertilize a 9-hole golf course. The entire golf course covers a rectangular area approximately 1,800 feet by 2,700 feet. Each bag of fertilizer covers 20,000 square feet. How many bags of fertilizer will the worker need? To find the area of a rectangle, we multiply the length, which is 2,700 feet, times the width, which is 1,800 feet. Our total of the area equals 4, 8, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0. 4,860,000 square feet. Now we want to know how many bags of fertilizer they will need, and each bag covers 20,000 square feet. So to get our answer, we'll take this answer and divide it by 20,000 to figure out how many bags of fertilizer the worker is going to need. So our final answer is 243 bags. For our last problem, we're designing a mat for a picture. The picture is an 8 by 10 inch picture. The mat is 2 inches wide. We want to know the area of the mat. We will do the math, which is 8, figure out the area outlined in red. 2 plus 2 would be 12. By 10, 2, and 2, 14, which equals 168 square inches. That would be for the entire outlined area in red. We want to know how much is the mat. That would be between the red and the blue rectangles. Our blue rectangle outlined here is 8 by 10. Let's find its area. That would equal 80 square inches. To get our final answer, we need to take the area of the red minus the area of the blue to get the area that's left in between these two rectangles. Subtract 168 minus 80 equals 88 square inches, and that will be our final answer. And that's all we have for today.